सगळे आमचे CCR TV पळयणाऱ्यांक माय मोगाचो येवकार. आमचो प्रोग्राम एग्री डिसएग्री, इज इट ए डू ऑर डाय बॅटल फॉर गोवा? बरो म्हत्वाचो प्रश्न आमचे मुखार आमी आज हाडटा, कित्याक गोवा इज गोईंग थ्रू ए व्हेरी बॅड period of time for Goans and for the state of Goa. Several issues that are doing the rounds, starting now with Madhei water diversion. And earlier, people fought against the expansion of coal. People have fought against the double tracking. Now everybody is on one platform, no Madhei water diversion. A suspense, because everything what is said is done the opposite way, killing whatever is there of Goa and Goans. Is it or is it not? We have a panel with us, and we have Dr. Father Bolmax Pereira, who is a professor of botany at St. Joseph's Vaz College in Kortalim. Dr. Bolmax, welcome.
Jovito.
Then we have Dr. Johnson Fernandez, ENT surgeon, occupational health physician, connected with several organizations and has been doing a wonderful work as far as the social service is concerned. My Bagaso Yokar, Dr. Johnson. Another fighter for Goa, for Goans, founder member of Goincho Equot, fighting for this Equot, which we hope will succeed for the sake of Goa and Goans. We welcome Orville Dourado Rodrigues. And we have the captain, retired now, of the Indian Navy, who served for the country and in Kargil war was decorated with a Vijay Star medal. 26 years in Navy, Indian Navy. Joined as a mechanical, then talked of marine engineering specialization, then still learnt about aeronautics engineering specialization. After retirement, said, I must contribute for the growth development of Goa and Goans, conceptualized Goincho Awaz in 2018, and is now very, very active in the social, economic progress, development, and future of Goa. Welcome, Captain Viriato Fernandez. Remember the date, 11th January 2023. Not many paid attention because everybody was diverted towards Madhei. And that is how the top politicians operate. People are busy, but they came out with a clearance. And this is being done now by a new colonial power. After the Portuguese went, we have now become the satellite of New Delhi, the central government. The center has granted environmental clearance for enhancement of terminal capacity at berths 5A and 6A at Mormugaon Port Authority. What is the reason? For handling coal, coal products, iron ore, limestone, bauxite, and steel products. It will cost about 300 crore approximately. The clearance has been granted to Jindal's group Southwest Port in Mormugaon. They are almost a super authority, and Mormugaon Port now is called Mormugaon Port Authority, no longer a trust, because they are another powerful state within the state of Goa. They dictate, they can do what and how they want. There were a lot of meetings, discussions, debates for 8 days continuously. I remember at Tilak Maidan in Vasco, people debated. There were resolutions, and they said no coal expansion. All that is forgotten, and ultimately, the center says, you will do exactly what we tell you. No people's power anymore in Goa. Dr. Bolmex, how do you read this latest order?
पयले सुवातेर तुजो माथाडो एग्री ऑर डिसएग्री इट्स डू ऑर डाय फॉर गोवा. आय से येस आय एग्री इट इज डू ऑर डाय फॉर गोवा. आनी इट इज डू ऑर डाय फॉर गोवा कित्याक आतां ही एक वस्त न्हू, इट इज नॉट वन सायडेड. वी हॅव बीन अटॅक्ड ऑन ऑल सायड्स. आनीक हांव ह्या दिसांनी म्हणटा जायते फावटी आमचो काशांव तयार केल्लो आहा, एक एक हिळो आमचेर पडत आहा म्हणटच हे आख्खें षडयंत्र रचून हाडलेलें आहा आतां न्हू, भोव पयलीं. इट इज ओन्ली द एग्जिक्युशन दॅट इज टेकिंग प्लेस नाव. आनी एज द एग्जिक्युशन इज टेकिंग प्लेस नाव वी आर सीइंग, आमकां दिसती पडटा आतां आमच्या दोळ्या मुखार आहा. सो तेन्ना येस इट इज डू ऑर डाय. कित्याक इतलें जरी तर आमचे पासत षडयंत्र रचलेलें आहा गोंयकारां पासत, हांव एकल्या पासत म्हणना, पूण गोंयकारांक काबार करपाक, गोंय काबार करपाक हें आख्खें षडयंत्र रचलेलें आहा. एंड आय वील नॉट हेजिटेट टू से दॅट द सेंटर एंड द कॉर्पोरेट्स हॅव प्रिपेर्ड द ब्लू प्रिंट फॉर अस. आनी आमचें जें आहा, घरचो बेदी भायलो चोर आमी म्हणटा, आमचें जें आहा दे आर जस्ट allowing this blueprint to be executed. म्हणटच आमकां साल्वार करतलो आनी कोण ना. इट इज डू ऑर डाय फॉर अस गोवन्स.
Dr. Bolmex, sorry to interrupt you. गोंयकार सुसेगाद म्हूण हें सगळें अशें जाता काय?
सुसेगाद ना, आमी सुसेगाद न्हू. आतां सद्याक जरी तर आमकां गोंयकाराक, हांव गोंयकार, तूंय गोंयकार, आनी आमकां गोंयकाराक पडयत जाल्यार आमी आनीक सुसेग ना. सुसेग पिड्ड्यार जालो आमचो, आनीक सुसेग रावपाचो खूंय वेळ उरला आमचे कडेन. वी आर फिनिश्ड. सो आमी सुसेगाद म्हूण न्हू, पूण आमी आनीक कोणाक पातयेल्या. वी हॅव ट्रस्टेड अदर्स म्हणटा तेन्ना मे बी द सेंट्रल गव्हर्मेंट आमकां ज्यो सगल्यो वस्तू ज्यो दाखयल्ल्यो आहा, आमकां लॉलिपॉप्स दाखयल्लीं आहा, आनीक आमचेंच जें आहा तेणी हें जावचें ना, अशें जावचें ना म्हणलेल्या. वी हॅव ट्रस्टेड देम. मे बी वन्स अगेन द लॉलिपॉप कल्चर आमच्या थोड्यांक जें दिल्लें आहा, एंड वी हॅव ट्रस्टेड अदर्स. सो आमी सुसेगाद गोंयकार म्हणटा ते आतां उठलेले जे आहा ते स्टॉप्ड ट्रस्टींग देम. वी कॅनॉट ट्रस्ट देम एनी मोर. जाल्यार आतां सुसेगाद गोंयकार जरी तर आहा जाल्यार आतां उठना जाल्यार मोर. हेज्याहून सुबेज हांव कांय म्हणपा ना. जरी तर जियोवपाक नाका जाल्यार इट इज युअर चॉयस. बी रेडी टू डाय.
हें पळय एक्सटेंशन दिलां. द टोटल कार्गो टू बी हँडल is expected up to 12 to 13 million tons per annum. It will definitely create health problems. Dr. Jorson, तुम्ही भाग घेतलेलो ह्या 8 दिसांक एट तिलाक स्टेडियम. थंय सांगलेलें कॅन्सर आनी हेर दुयेंसां जातलीं म्हूण. म्हाका दिसना लोकांक पडलेलें आहा म्हूण.
कोल पळय आसा तो 3 तरेचो कोल आसा. एक म्हणल्यार लिग्नाइट कोल, दॅट इज ऑफ व्हेरी लो ग्रेड. दी हाय ग्रेड कोल इज बिटुमिनस कोल एंड आंथ्रासाइट. आमी तेन्नाच प्रश्न विचारिल्लो गोवा पोल्युशन कंट्रोल बोर्डा कडेन, बाबा हो कोल हाडटा तो कसलो, वॉट कॅटेगरी, वॉट ग्रेड इट इज. दे वर अनेबल टू आन्सर. प्रोपोनंट्स रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह वर ऑल्सो देर, तेवूय आशिल्ले, पूण तेमी बीन आमकां सांगूना. म्हणजे हो कोल तुमी तपासला म्हळ्यार तिवूय बीन तांकां खबर नाशिल्ली. शेवटी आमची लास्ट टायम पळय व्हडली मोठी मिटींग पळय जाल्ली चांदोर, तेन्ना आमच्या ऑरवील बाबान म्हाका कोल दिल्लो. तो कोल व्हरून आमी गोवा स्टेट पोल्युशन कंट्रोल बोर्डा कडेन दिलो. बाबा म्हणलें हो आमकां तपासून हातून भितर कितें आसा तें आमकां जाय. तो कोल तपासून ताजो रिपोर्ट पळय म्हाका दिला. तो 9 म्हयन्यापेक्षा जास्त जालो. 9 म्हयन्यांनी भुरगीं तयार जाता. हो आमचो गोवा स्टेट पोल्युशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड. इट इज, आय वुडंट से इट इज अ कंट्रोल बोर्ड, इट्स अ causing board, pollution causing board. I label them like that. The reason is because they were not able to give me the report in time. 2, तुम्ही कोल जरी तरी आज गोंयान हाडटा जायत जाल्यार आमचे गोवा स्टेट पोल्युशन कंट्रोल बोर्डा कडेन सगळे आर्मामेंत आसपाक जाय टेस्ट करपाक वेदर इट इज वॉटर वेदर इट इज सॉयल ऑर वेदर द कोल डस्ट इन द एअर. हांचे कडेन कांयच मशिनरी ना. हो कोल तेमी धाडलो गदक खंयची एक लॅबोरेटरी दॅट वॉज सिट्युएटेड एट कणकवली आउटसायड गोवा आनी थंयच्यान ताका 9 म्हयने लागले म्हाका रिपोर्ट दिवपाक. आतां तातूंत ज्यो पळय वस्तू पळय आसात वेन वी टॉक अबाउट कोल डस्ट म्हणटा तो we bifurcate that as a health physician. We bifurcate that less than 2.5 microns पडे आसा तो आमचो सोमतोच पुलमा वता. इट्स कॉल्ड एज रेस्पिरेबल डस्ट. आमचे भितर नाकान केस असतात, आमचे भितर नाकान म्युसिन असता that traps. So less than 2.5 micron goes straight inside the lungs. The rest of it, which is bigger particle, gets trapped.
पण ते आता म्हणटा गोंयचे लंग्सांक गोंयकारांच्या लंग्सांक हें कांय ना मग.
टेस्ट कोणें करूंकच ना. कित्याक प्रिकॉशनरी प्रिंसिपल पळय आसा ह्या प्रिकॉशनरी प्रिंसिपलांत थंय बरयल्लें आसा that first thing, whenever there is a suspicion which has been raised by thousands and thousands of people from Goa, it is the duty, the burden of bringing the evidence and the proof lies on the proponent. So Jindal Adani आणि आमकां सगळी रिसर्च करून बेसिक डेटा कलेक्ट करून आणि आतां पळय किती इफेक्ट जाता ताजो कलेक्ट करून आमचे मुखार डेटा वा कोर्टाचे मुखार डेटा घालपाक.
ते आतां they have proposed they will use more modernized equipment to reduce pollution.
That means there was already pollution. If they are saying so, that means there was already pollution. They have agreed to it. If they have agreed to it, if they are coming through making now modifications, that means they have already caused health effects on the people of Goa in the past 2 years or 3 years. So who is going to pay the compensation for the people of Goa? They have to answer.
Goans are not bothered about
No,
compensation.
Goans are bothered. That's the reason
Do you
why.
think so?
Yes, that's the reason why thousands and thousands of people are coming together to fight against this. पण आमचे कितें जाला सध्या पळय आमचे कडेन पळय गव्हर्नमेंट आसा तो 2 तरेचे वेपन यूज करता. One is coercive force. Whenever we talk about influencing people, one is the coercive force. ते बडी मारतात लोकांचेर. नाका आशिल्ले केसी घालतात. आमचे बरे एक्टिविस्ट पळय आशिल्ले तांकां घालता भितर उडयतात केसी घालून फॉल्स केसीस. And the second one is the reward power. So one is the coercive force or coercive power. The second one the reward force or reward power. 8 जण आमचे गेल्ले आहे ते कोण ते आनी हांव नांव घेना पूण कित्याक गेले ते तेमी सांगचे आमके येवन.
But this southwest port पळय आहा which is almost an autonomous sub-state in Mormugao has been operating berths 5A and 6A right from 2004. And study म्हाका दिसना कोणें केल्लें म्हण at that time. And now they are saying आतां southwest port म्हणटा will employ highly mechanized, modernized, efficient, environment friendly material handling system, enhance conveyor speed, making evacuation and dispatch more efficient. It will reduce pollution by retrofitting material handling systems with latest dust entrapment systems and barriers, and there will be an increase in terminal capacity without change in the stockyard area and water area. हें तांचे मोतीन 2004 आशिल्लें. सगळे गोंयकार ओगे रावले म्हूण हें आतां अशें जालां दिसता म्हाका बाबोरविल.
Sagar. What is happening is since 2004 and until 2012 when the matter was first taken up by our Old Cross Association, Raponkar also ek thing Sangatni and they went to NGT about this about the capital dredging that was taking place. So 2004 to 2012 more or less Goan slept over this matter. So what has happened is there was a huge vacuum created. Awareness was only created post 2012. They got a respite, they got a favorable order, and that's how the issue of coal and its adverse effects on the health of Goa and Goans, Goa's environment and Goans in particular, was brought to the fore. And it is not this to say that Goans are Sagar. There are n number of Goans who are ready to join battle. I'm saying to join the battle in a sense that they are ready to come even on the streets. But yes, as you said, as Dr. Johnson has just said, there is, they are using the carrot and stick method. The government, I'm openly saying this, those that are the activists, we have here Captain Virato beside me. False cases have been, and even Dr. Bolmex, for example, false cases were put against them on that 19th of December 2020.
This was something like being done by Portuguese before the Goa liberation.
I was not born.
You are not born. I was born.
Yes.
That's what I can say.
They used to say Salazar was this and
Yes.
that. But now we are seeing this effect. What is happening?
आणि एक अजिंत मोंतेर म्हणून
होय. तेच ऐकला story ऐकला. We have read on books about him as well.
Okay.
So,
but a lot of people say this is worse than that one.
I feel it because I thought this we were a free republic with free thinkers.
Did you think the freedom fighters who said freedom, do you think they thought on all these lines how Goa would change?
We had one respected man in our family, Lambert Mascarenhas.
Yes.
He's far off related to us, my family. And questions were raised by my mother, to him. What have you done after you all won the so-called liberation? He had no answer. He had no answers to my mother, because so-called freedom fighters who fought for Goa, after they thought they got a victory, but after that everybody sat on their cozy boardrooms and just writing letters and stuff like that.
Does it pay?
No, it doesn't.
Writing letters and
okay, it creates little awareness to those who read and write. What about the rest of the lay persons?
You are from Vasco.
I am from Velsam.
You are very close.
Yes.
So problem will be not only Vasco, it will be also Sankwale, it will be Kortali,
Kortali,
it
exactly.
will be Velsam,
Yes.
it could be even Margam for
Yes.
that matter. And pollution was there.
Pollution was there, but the quantum of pollution that we see today, I have a ground plus 2 villa. The pollution is not felt on the ground floor. It is about my villa is about 300 plus meters away from the existing railway tracks. But on the first floor and on the second floor, every morning we have to swab the floor.
Did you call the people from Jindal and showed them?
What is the use? They are not coming. I will put this that we had asked the deputy collector of Marmongor to come and inspect the site.
Nothing.
And see,
Nothing.
he
happened.
promised us through the good office of deputy SP of Marmongor, Mr. Salim. Over a phone, he said, yes, I'm coming on so and so day. People gathered on 11th of January, and there's no sign of him.
And this now is almost the final nail in the coffin, which is being closed now. Public hearings took place. Besides protests, petitions, almost everyone had objected against the drafted plans. Captain Viriato, you were also at the forefront of all this.
Yeah, I'll take a little time to join the dots in Dakopak. It's not in isolation, but it's one big conspiracy. Now, what we said is on 11th January, they gave the environmental clearance to the 3 projects for which public hearing was held on 27, 28, 29th of April 2017, which went on for 8-10 days. And in the middle of the night, the collector came and stopped it. That is the famous incident which happened. Now, what are these 3 projects and why this expansion? After almost 6 years, they have given this clearance. It is not coincidence, but it is by design. Ki 100 वर्सां उपरांत दिना. आणि हे expansion करून, why that expansion is because we have to go back 12 to 13 years back, where a study revealed that massive industrialization is going to take place in North Karnataka, where steel plants and power plants are supposed to come up. And the requirement of coal was calculated to about 136 million tons per annum. Now, was the coal not coming before? Are there no railway lines? There are railway lines. But another study of the railway showed that instead of bringing only by rail, now the coal which is coming from Orissa and central India, if it is brought to Haldia, then put on the ship and see a peninsula, if they bring right down from the south and bring it to Mormugao and then load it onto the tracks, then the freight charge comes down from 2,298 to 2,250 rupees per ton. That means there is a saving of 48 rupees. Now we will say the richest man who is now tumbling down, is 48 rupees per ton is going to make a difference? No, it is 48 rupees into 136 million tons. Munche here by double tracking this expansion of Mormugao Port Trust, which is now Mormugao Port Authority, at the cost of the taxpayers' money, is being made or invested to profit people like Adani and Jindal. So, here by expansions, what we are saying 12 million tons per annum is actually when they do the full modernization and expansion of MPA, Mormugao Port Authority, it will go to 51 million tons per annum, the handling. But they require 136 million tons. What is the difference about 85 million tons per annum? How to cater for it? That is where the three-dimensional attack on Goa. What is the three-dimensional? In 2016, when Lakshmikant Parsenkar was the chief minister, in November 2016, one line he wrote 6 rivers. Amche Sal, Zuari, Mandavi, Mapsa, Kumarjua, and Shapara, 6 rivers, were just handed over to the center in the name of nationalization.
Are you talking about Parsekar,
Yes.
who classified the coconut tree
Absolutely, as grass.
as a grass?
Yes.
Okay, so now we can understand better.
Yes. And when the deal was signed, the grass was again made back into coconut tree. So, why these 6 rivers were handed over to center? And then the double tracking, because the difference of 85 million tons which cannot come through the railway tracks will go by the rivers, and some of it will go by the road. That is why the expansion of roads started happening. So it was a three-dimensional thing. Rail, road and rivers. So now we know how the coal, now from where the coal will come. If you remember, after the present regime came into power at the center, they clamped down on mining of coal. So they created an artificial demand, shortage. And then Adani steps in. After the new regime comes in 2014, he applies for a loan with SBI for about $1 billion to buy the Carmichael mine in Queensland, Australia.
Which was actually dormant.
It was dormant. There was a clampdown on that because there is that coral reef
Yes.
to protect that. So, State Bank said, we can't give so much of money. It's a position of these people's money. Now, what happened is, the present regime, whom Adani had given his private aircraft and money to come to power, now it was a give back time. So, there was no money in State Bank. That time it was Arundhati Bhattacharya who was the chairperson of State Bank of India. She was told by the Prime Minister, kuch karna hai. But she said, kya karenge? Don't worry. We will look after, we have answers. And that is what, if you recollect what happened at 8 o'clock on 8th November 2016, you and I and all of us stood in the queue and put all our money in the banks. And immediately the loan was sanctioned to Adani. See the conspiracy now. Our money is being robbed in the name of demonetization. And the loan was sanctioned by State Bank of India, Hyderabad branch, to this man. And the Prime Minister takes Adani to Queensland, has a breakfast meeting with the head of Queensland, with Arundhati Bhattacharya. I have shared that photograph, and there the deal is signed. So the destruction of Goa was being planned somewhere over breakfast. I call it the Dokla diplomacy or whatever agreement. So you have the rivers gone, the double tacking which is being pushed, and the expansion of road. Now, Goa, we had mainly three occupations. Liberation time, agriculture, tourism and mining. Agriculture has been systematically killed. आमचे कोण हा शेतकामती ते they are few in number. Father is trying his level best to encourage youth to take up farming. That is how he formed the Chikali Youth Farmers Club. And there are other farmers who are doing. Mining ban came in 2012. I feel there was a reason, because if you study the Sagar report, in 2006, there is a mention saying we have to look for alternate cargo. 2006. That means, was it coal that they were looking out for? Has iron ore mining will kill systematically as a larger conspiracy to ensure, because all the berths in MPT, now MP, are being handed over for coal now to Jindal and Adani and all. So if you look in introspection and join the dots, was it a bigger conspiracy?
Yeah, exactly. The government's plans to enhance the coal handling at port was envisaged under the Sagarmala program,
Absolutely.
which is an initiative of the government of Goa. They say that it is to enhance the performance of the country's logistics sector. Recently now, last week, there's a fishing ban now. To body ani gor घेतो जाल्यार you cannot do that. Kobli घेतलो जाल्यार thing also जायना. That means now they have not said why you cannot now fish. Small people in our villages on the beaches, that means they will be now deprived, and people have not understood, Goans have not understood that this is being done to favor the transportation of coal. What do you say, Father Balmax?
हे म्हाका दिसता सांगपाक पासून नाका. दोळे आहा न्हू तेका दिसती पडटा, कान आहा तेका आयकपाक येता, आनी जेंकां मातसो इल्लोसो तरी भेजो आहा न्हू जाल्यार हें समजपाक पुरो. आनी आतां हेजी आतां एक्सप्लेनेशन येवपाक लागतली. आमचे मिनिस्टर आतां एक एकलो उठ्ठलो आनी सांगतलो ना बडी घेवन गेल्यार फायन पडचें ना, लोकल फिशरमॅना तांकां पडचें ना. आयकपाचें ना हें. कागद आड बरयल्लें आहा तें. कायदो कितें सांगता, जो कायदो पास केल्लो आहा न्हू तो कितें सांगता तें दाखय आमकां. हेज्या पयलीं आमी गोंयकार हे भाशेन फटोवन गेले. आनी
ते एक सांगता आनी बोलतेंच करता.
ना सांगता कितें आमी आयकता न्हू. आमी भिवपाची गरज ना म्हणून आमी म्हणलें आमी भिवपाची गरज ना. पूण ते भिवपाची गरज ना म्हणल्यार तेजो डॉक्युमेंट खूंय आहा. कित्याक भिवपाची गरज ना तें खूंय आहा. आतां हें तूं आतां सांगता तें फिशींग बॅन जो आहा, थिंगा एक बडी घेवन पासून वयतलो जाल्यार तुवें तुजो रेजिस्ट्रेशन करपाक जाय, गॉरांटीचे पासून रेजिस्ट्रेशन करपाक जाय. तो कायदो आतां
बडी बी दाखोवची पडटली.
ना आतां तें हांव एक्झॅक्टली नको, पूण हांव म्हणटा कितें जो कायदो येयल्लो आहा आनी आतां आमकां जे एक्सप्लेनेशन मेळटलें तें न्हू म्हणून तेणी तें बरोवन आहा तें आमकां काडून
तरी रिगरस तरी लॉ काडली, मोडटले कोण? व्हडले गरीब काय बारीक?
हांवें सुरवातेक म्हणलां ते भाशेन आख्खें षडयंत्र तयार आहा. ओके, ब्लू प्रिंट रेडी आहा. सागरमाला इज द ब्लू प्रिंट ऑफ आवर डेथ. इट इज द काशांव. आमगेलो काशांव जो आहा सागरमाला म्हणलेलो आहा तो. येस, वी वॉन्ट डिवेलपमेंट. आख्खे इंडियेक डिवेलपमेंट जाता, आमकां ताचेर कांयच हरकत ना. पूण हो इंडियेचो डिवेलपमेंट करता आसतना गोंय काबार करप, हें धाकटे धाकटे तांकां काबार करप, आनी धाकटे धाकटे काबार करपा तितून आमकां दिसती पडटा आतांची जी रेजीम आहा, आमचो प्रायम मिनिस्टर आनी आमचो आतांचो सरकार आहा तो, हाव दे आर प्रमोटींग द बीग फेलोज. बीग कॉर्पोरेट्स आर जस्ट पुश्ड, आनी टू पुश द बीग कॉर्पोरेट्स धाकटे धाकटे तांकां मारून उडयले. स्मॉल बिझनेसीस
आनी थोडेच ते पॉलिटिकल ऑपोजिशन देखून आशिल्लें पळय. लास्ट टायम 8 जाणांक ते गेले आनी आमचे हे 8 जाण लेंबडे कशे. आतां काय उलयना.
त्या 8 जाणांचेर उलोवन फायदो ना. म्हाका दिसता तांकां मातशे पासून एक मॉरल ऑथॉरिटी ना इवन टू बी मेन्शन्ड ऑन दीस डिबेट ऑर ऑन दीस डिस्कशन. तेमी जे आपणाचो सगळें कितें इकलां, इकून काबार जाले. दे हॅव सोल्ड देमसेल्फ जाल्यार वी कॅनॉट इवन डिस्कस अबाउट देम.
कित्याक उदकाचे देखून प्रॉब्लेम. चीफ मिनिस्टर उलयला पूण हे 8 जाणांक वॉयसूच ना.
ना, म्हाका आनी एक फावटी हांव म्हणटा, लेट अस नॉट गेट बिहायंड देम. दे आर युजलेस पीपल. तांकां कुसेंस ना आनी तेंच्यान भायर सरपाकूय जायना बिकॉज दे हॅव सोल्ड देमसेल्फ. ते गुलाम, 8 जाण गुलाम. हांव म्हणटा तुमच्या हेजेर म्हणटा 8 जाण गुलाम आनी तांकां आयज भायर सरपाक जायना. घोडे आतां एक पाद्री असो म्हणटालो आय प्रे फॉर दीज 8 पीपल. तितूंतले भायर केशे भाशेन सत्तले, डायरेक्ट काशावान वचून भायर सत्तले, वो देव तांकां आनी केशे भाशेन भायर काडटलो ते हांव नको. ओके, पूण सद्याक तेंच्यान उलोवपाक जायना तूं म्हणटा ते भाशेन बिकॉज ते गुलाम जाल्ले आहा, बांदून उरलेले आहा, आनीक उलोवपाक ना. आमी तेंचेर उलयन टायम वेस्ट करपाक जायना. सद्याक आमचे मुखार आमचो काशाव आहा. आमी डू ऑर डाय, येस दीस इज वेर वी हॅव रीच जाल्यार आख्खो षडयंत्र तयार आहा. तेजेर आमी केशे भाशेन झुजतले आनी आमी केशे भाशेन साल्वार जातले हें दर एका गोंयकारान चिंतपाक जाय. आनी हांव म्हणीत आयलो तें आतां परतूनय म्हणटा, आमी जर तर बाराबर येयना न्हू जाल्यार आमी आमचो काशावान फकत न्हिदपाचें. आयदर यू गेट इनवॉल्वड ऑर गेट लॉस्ट. हांवें म्हणलेलो आहा परतून, आयदर यू गेट युनायटेड ऑर यू डाय. हेजे भायर आमकां आनी कांय करपाचें ना. सो आमकां बारीक बारीक आहा तेन्ना आतां न्यू एक रूल आतां येवपाचो आहा भायर. हे सगळें तयार केल्लें आहा. म्हजे माय ओपिनियन इज हे सगळें तयार केल्लें आहा. एक आमकां भायर सोदता आनी आमी एक केस डील कोत्ता म्हणल्यार देन वी हॅव टू गो ऑन द रोड विथ अनदर वन. एक आतां मादयेचें डायवर्शन DPR हें दिलो आमी, तेका झुजता म्हणल्यार दुसरे वाटेन तुका कोल एक्सटेंशन तें दिलें. आतां तेजे पासत आमी झगडटा म्हणल्यार आतां हें तुजें फिशींग. आमचे फिशरमॅन जे आहा गोंयचेच न्हू, आख्ख्या आमच्या भारतान मोर देन 2 crore फिशरमॅन जे
सद्या गोंयांत रांपोणकार पडे आहा.
हय,
तेंचें कितें?
सो तेंच लायव्हलीहूड जी आमची लोकल लायव्हलीहूड आहा ती काबार जावपाची आहा. हे आमचे फिशरमॅन आहा ते हुंच्यान मरपाचें काय जियोवपाचें कळपाचें ना तेंकां.
आनी तेच बरोबर म्हाका दिसता आमी नुस्तें बरें खाता, गोंयकार म्हणटा फिश लावींग, आमकां नुस्तें बी मेळपाचें ना.
नुस्तें हूंय दवरपाचें उरलां. जरी तर कोळसो जरी तर आमच्या ह्या उदकांतल्यान आतां कॅप्टनान सांगला ते भाशेन इफ इट इज अ 3-pronged अटॅक, एक रेलीचेर जावन दर्यांतल्यान सान आनी रस्त्यांतल्यान सान वचपाचें, दर्या आमचो काबार जावपाचो. आमच्यो रिवर्स ज्यो आहा, ऑल आर 12 रिवर्स, दे आर द नर्सरीज ऑफ आवर फीश. आनी आमचें गोंयचें नुस्तें दुसरें नुस्त्याहून दुसरें, टेस्ट डिफरंट. कोणूय वचत जाल्यार हुंय वचत जाल्यार हें म्हणटा आमचें गोंयचें नुस्तें वेगळें. वाय? कित्याक आमच्यो ज्यो नदी आहा, आमच्यो नदी व्हडल्यो न्हू, आमच्यो नदी धाकट्यो. आनी द मिक्सचर ऑफ द फ्रेश वॉटर एंड द सलायन वॉटर, ते ब्रॅकिश वॉटर जे आहा न्हू, ते गिव्स अस दॅट टेस्ट जो दुसरे कडेन आमकां मेळना. पूण आतां हें बाराबर काबार करपाक आमचे 6 मेन रिवर्स हॅव बीन नॅशनलायज, कॅप्टनान सांगलेलें आहा.
पूण हितून बारीक फिशरमॅनांक काबार करपाचे घोडे तेंचो प्लॅन आसतलो स्पेशल बोटी हाडपाच्यो आनी भायल्यांक सगल्यांक फिशींग करपाचें आनी आमकां नुस्तेंय नाय करपाचें.
एक्झॅक्टली हांव तेंच म्हणटा. आख्खें
कितें प्लॅन आहा
तयार
तें
केल्लो
कोणाक
आहा,
सांगूं जायना.
आख्खो तयार केल्लो आहा. फकत आमचेर आतां निमणो हिडो मारून काबार जाल्या उपरांत गोवा डज नॉट मॅटर टू द सेंटर. दे आर नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट अस. सेंट्रल गव्हर्मेंट इज नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट गोवा. ते आमकां फकत एक कॉरिडर म्हणून हें करता. आतां जस्ट सी द बजेट. आतां बजेट केला तितून 3.1 lakh crore हॅज बीन एलोकेटेड टू ओनली रेल एंड रोड ट्रान्सपोर्ट. हांव नका तुमी वाचला जाल्यार 3.1 lakh crore ओनली फॉर रेल एंड रोड ट्रान्सपोर्ट. आतां इतलें हें केल्लें आहा जाल्यार दुसरे वाटेन आनीक मातशें मुखार चोयतेच बजेटान, ऑल्दो तुवें मुखार बजेटाचें विचारूंक ना, बट द कनेक्शन अदर सायड गव्हर्मेंट इज सेईंग ग्रीन ग्रोथ प्रमोट करपाचें आहा. मँग्रोव प्लांटेशन, मँग्रोव्स माय फेवरेट, आनी आमी ह्या दिसांनी कोत्ता तें मँग्रोव प्लांटेशन म्हणटा तें आपण प्रमोट करपाचें आहा. एट द सेम टायम देर इज कोस्टल शिपींग कॉरिडर दॅट इज बींग प्रमोटेड. 7,500 kilometer ऑफ आमची कोस्टल एरिया इज बींग प्रमोटेड फॉर कोस्टल शिपींग कॉरिडर. If 7,500 kilometer of our coastline is being promoted for this shipping corridor, जाल्यार मँग्रोव्स हुंय आमी प्रमोट करपाचे. ग्रीन कोस्टल ग्रीन ग्रोथ म्हणटा तो हुंय करपाचो. सो दॅट मीन्स
There is a hidden agenda.
This is a pure conspiracy that is in force. आनी आमी बाबडे थोडे जे एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट आहा ते म्हणटले, थोडे आमी जे ग्रीन हे आहा ते म्हणटले जावं साहेबा गव्हर्मेंटान आमकां ग्रीन ग्रोथ दिवपाक हें केल्लो आहा, आमी करून वतले आनी त्या वाटेन शिपींग लॉबी आनी दॅट अदर सो कॉल्ड एज शिपींग कॉरिडर जालो जाल्यार खंय उरला ग्रीन ग्रोथ?
They will also do fishing.
lie. Our
They will also
government,
do fishing, Father.
of course, all this will come.
Yes,
So
yes.
that so-called as 7,500 kilometer shipping corridor that is being pushed under Sagarmala. Once again,
Why?
Sagarmala kushin kadpak जायना आमच्यान. Under Sagarmala जो being pushed is not allowing any other growth. Green growth म्हणटा थंय हें फकाण आता. It is only to show tomorrow then reports येतले for Agenda 2030, that is the Sustainable Development Growth goals जे आहा, that India has allocated this for green growth. Huye ha green growth. So
Actually,
then the lies will be told in the reports, and amcho report येतलो like last year when the index of SDG index came, Goa was getting so much. I mean, first place is जायते पडलेले
Yes,
आमकां.
yes.
But on ground, what we are seeing is nothing is there. So government is lying, corporates are lying, and now at the center is coming with a big lie. And Sagarmala, so-called as promotion of development, yes. Anik ek पावटी सांगता we need development, but there is a lie that is being told to us. आणि आमी जरी तर ओगे रावन ह्यो लायज आयकल्ले जाल्यार फणान न्हिदपाचे, डू ऑर डाय.
What you say is correct, because the Madhei problem, they said and they admitted that they have done one thing and it has happened something else. In 2018, the Goa State Pollution Control Board revoked the consent to operate after questions of air quality, and the port's own records revealed that it was handling more coal than it was allowed to under the terms of consent. What do you say, Doctor?
When we are talking about the Goa State Pollution Control Board, the first thing that we need to ask is, do they have the necessary equipment which is required with the quantum of coal that we are transporting? I had written a letter to them under the right to information to tell us the amount of coal that is being spilled over along the tracks in the state of Goa, not beyond the state of Goa, only in the state of Goa. तांचे कडेन कांय नाशिल्लें, ते ना म्हणून मागीर आमी हो कोल व्हरून तांकां टेस्टिंगा दिलो, कित्याक तांचे कडेन कांय ना म्हणून. This is the coal that we found in Chandar along the tracks. There is a study that is being done, and this international study that is being done tells us that from each bogie, 300 kilos of coal falls out from small little crevices, gaps that are there because of the breeze. When your shutter is not proper, it falls out, and it on a distance of travel by the train of that particular bogie up to around 600 kilometers. आता हे हिशोबा प्रमाणे केले जायत 300 किलो एक बुगींतल्यान 58 bogies are there, 58 to 59 bogies are there in one train. So 300 multiplied by that 58 or 59 into 9 trains per day, multiplied by 9. Along the tracks, that will be the amount of coal that will be deposited. Now, what does this coal contain? Whether it is washed, unwashed coal. I'm talking about what does this coal contain. Whether it is particulate matter which is more than 2.5 microns or less than 2.5 microns. It contains lead, it contains mercury, it contains cadmium, it contains chromium, it contains antimony, it contains tin, it contains radioactive isotopes like that of thorium and strontium, and it also contains arsenic. Most of these substances, they are cancer causing.
Yes.
Okay. Now, आम्ही जर mercury एकच घेतले जायत 70th part of 1 teaspoon, that is 5 ml. 5 ml आतले 70th part जर एक 25 एकर लेकान घातले जायत, the fish cannot be consumed. So you can imagine the amount of mercury that I'm talking about. There's a study that was being done also by the National Institute of Oceanography, if I'm not mistaken. And they did that study on the oysters. And the oysters that were being found somewhere in the interior beyond Ribandar in the Mandovi River, along that part, which is part of Madhei, they found that the amount of mercury that was being found was much lesser than the amount of mercury that was being found in the oysters, which was at the opening of our Madhei or Mandovi River in the Arabian Sea. आता ही बारीक रिवर पळय आसा ती मोठे जेन्ना पळय दर्यान पळय वता थंय तुका कमी जावपा जाय आशिल्लें मर्क्युरी पूण थंय जास्त जाला. Now how can you reason out and logically say when we know that the river is opening up into a big sea that the mercury is higher? How can you explain it? Scientifically you cannot explain it. The only explanation is the coal that is being finally transported from the ships that is coming over the belts into the dumps and from there into the train.
There is spillage.
Because of the bridge or because of the breeze that is there is a spillage.
Yes.
That this scientific study establishes the fact that your Adanis and your Zindas have had no protective measures. Whatever they are doing is just a whitewash for our eyes, and people who have studied well are not going to go by whatever they are trying to say.
They are so powerful that their terminal is called Adani Mormugaon Port Terminal Private Limited. It is a fully mechanized coal handling facility capable of handling Panamax and capsize vessels. AMPTL is a strategically located coal terminal in the southwest coast of India. AMPTPL is a part of the protected open type natural harbor in the state of Goa. It will affect not only Mormugaon and Vasco, Sankwale, Kortali, other villages around, also places like Dona Paula, Taligaon, Karanzale, and maybe we are also in Panjim. So what are we heading for?
ती जोगीत बाब आम्ही एक मातशें लक्षात धरपा जाय. इट इज नॉट ओनली द मार्गोगांव पोर्ट ऑथॉरिटी. हे पळय ट्रॅक्स खंयच्या गांवांतल्यान वाड्या वयल्यान पळय पासार पळय जाता थंय सगळ्याक जर तरी हो 300 कोल एका भुगेंतल्यान 600 किलोमीटर पर्यंत चलता पळय इंटू दोज मेनी भुगीज ऑफ 59 इंटू 9 ट्रिप्स. And now with double tracking, it is going to be much more than that. You can imagine the poisoning that's going to get into the system of people who are living in the vicinity. And when the water bodies like that of ponds and lakes and rivers, small rivulets, as well as the stormwater drains, which will take it God knows to what extent, unless until we do a study on this and we establish the fact, it is going to be very difficult for us. Point number 2, आमचेकडे जे पळय इश्कोलां जी पळय आसा, children with special needs. एका तेंपार आमचे कडेन बारीक बारीक साठी इश्कोलां आशिल्लीं. आज आमचे कडेन कमीचे कमी म्हणल्यार about 22 ती सुमार 25 सुमार इश्कोलां आसात. The number has already risen up. Somebody will say that, okay, this may be because people are more conscious now and they are coming into this. Not very much. 2, because there is no school health that is being done. Parents are going all by themselves. Number 2, if this number has increased, we can attribute it to all these type of elements that are there into this coal. Especially mercury, especially arsenic, all these autism, learning disabilities, developmental disabilities and abnormalities are a creation of such type of coal which is being transported elsewhere in the world.
इतले असले प्रॉब्लेम आधी आमकां इथे दिसोन आशिल्ले पण आतांच डेव्हलपमेंट has created havoc in terms of population.
This is the reason why we talk about what is called as sustainable development. आम्ही व्हडले बिल्डिंगेचे बद्दल उलयता, मोठ्या रस्त्या बद्दल उलयता, डबल ट्रॅकिंगा बद्दल उलयता.
तू रॉंग आहा. नाव आता आम्ही पळयता पॉलिटिकल डेव्हलपमेंट ऑफ वन ओनली.
येस, पूण आमचे कडेन तू बॉम्बे गेले जायत न्ही असलेच मोठे रस्ते आहा पूण त्या रस्त्याचेर कोण हाकता, कोण थुकता, कोण मुतता ती खबर ना. सो वॉट टायप ऑफ डेव्हलपमेंट आर वी टॉकिंग अबाउट इफ यू आर डुईंग big roads and if you are talking about double tracking? We have got no education. First talk to the people and tell them what are the repercussions of this development, because this is not sustainable development at all.
But then understand, Doctor, they don't want to listen to the people.
They don't want to listen to
So
the people.
much.
Yes, I do understand they don't want to listen to the people, and Goans have never ever kept quiet. I remember the 50% bus concession that we fought and many other agitation which I have been leading. If they show their tongue to us, we are ready to show them our teeth. And it is not going to be too far from what we are talking about today that such a type of a thing will happen. But once the people are being sensitized and they are getting cautioned about what it is going to happen to their life, like the way Father said, it's a do or die situation. So when we start doing things, it will be a matter of dismantling everybody.
People are also being dislodged from their own houses.
Yes.
The double tracking. The railway authorities, they come and they are super policemen. They have got no legal terminology with them. They just come and they say, we are doing this here and there. And when in the court, the matter comes, their lawyer doesn't turn up. Is it correct?
See, that is one part of the issue where land acquisition has already commenced. For the last 27 months, this being a special project, all this process has to be completed in a period of 12 months. But it is now the 29th month, and the acquisition process is still undergoing. So that matter actually has left, and it has been challenged in the High Court, Bombay bench of the Goa bench of the Bombay High Court. Matter is sub judice. So right now, what RVNL is doing, they are not engaged in any works in those areas where the first acquisition has taken place, because the matter is sub judice. Right now, what they are doing in my village, from where I hail from, in Galsam, on the eastern side of the tracks, where there is no land acquisition, they have moved into private properties. And private landowners have complained to the Panchayat. The Panchayat has issued a stop work order. Letters have been sent to all the authorities.
No, but if I am not mistaken, they are a super authority like Mormugaon Port Authority.
Exactly.
Mormugaon Port Authority tomorrow decide to buy you and lift you, they can do it.
That is what is the fear now. But now, over the last few weeks, we have seen the tide is turning. People are now, forming groups and coming, out.
Better late than never.
Yes. So several affected landowners have appealed to the Panchayat, and Panchayat has been very proactive. They have also done their study, they have done their work. But what has happened, despite all this, the letters that, flurry of letters have gone to to the Deputy Collector Mormungao, to the Collector South, to the SP, to the police, the Verna police station. All this everything has fallen on deaf ears. Just the other day, RVNL, came with their heavy machinery, JCBs, water tankers, the generators, they moved in our village, and the villagers, as usual, stopped them. You will not believe it. The cop, the PI himself, came on the scene, and our Sarpanch and the other Panchayat member, whole Panchayat body was there. He told the Panchayat, he have no jurisdiction over the area. Now, where we were standing is a private land, which has been, there has been markings that it is a private land. We are standing on a private land belonging to one landowner of our village. And they say, no, you have to move away from here. This doesn't belong. You prove. As a landowner, you prove that this land belongs to you. What holds you from demarcating your area? I told him at that point of time, sir, I said, we are residents here. We know our topography of this land. He said, no, you don't give me that story. If you are this, we have to put you under arrest and all this.
So this sounded like Salazar's orders.
And he said, there was one car which is being regularly parked for last so many years. That car now must be about half a decade old or more. That poor guy was told to, remove his car. Otherwise, they were supposed to attach that car. So you can imagine now, even a landowner cannot park his vehicle in his own land to make way for the machinery to move in. And there is all videography evidence to this, what has happened.
But nothing is...
and right now, they are until 8 p.m. in the evening, they are working. Even yesterday, they are working until 8 p.m.
See, this proposal of coal handling and whatever it is, this was unanimously and vehemently opposed at that 8-day-long environmental public hearings in April, May 2017. Then ex-HCM Parikar wrote also to the central government.
Correct.
Not for it. Assurances were given in the assembly, but all that has turned meaningless. Where are we heading, Captain Vilya?
Before that, I want to say, you asked father about Goinkar Susagad Gai Mun. Susagad Mun are satisfied actually. It has been misinterpreted, he laid back. No. This regime, whatever you say, are scared of the Goans, and I'll tell you why. Mopa Airport is still not complete. It will take 3 to 4 years to build the infrastructure. Zuari Bridge, only half is complete and commissioned. But you see the date, 28th of December, they gave approval for the DPR, detailed project report of Madai. The Prime Minister knew, the government knew. The beyond what the airport complete झालं धावून येऊन inaugurate केलो because he loves to inaugurate, a Prime Minister. And the Surface Transport Minister came and inaugurated a Zuari Bridge because they knew the moment Goans come to know DPR approve केला to divert Madai, तांकां भितर सरपाक दिवपाचें, बडोवपाचें. टाइम आयलो हा बडोवपाचें. सो आतां ते सुसेगाद काबार. सो ते भियेतात गोंयकारांक. Second is about this 11th January पळय ते expansion approval दिला पळय. It is going to benefit Jindal. Who is this Jindal? If you recollect, a Prime Minister tried to show he is a statesman to the world. On 25th December 2015, Christmas Day, after completing his 2-country tour of Australia and Afghanistan, suddenly ताजे तोखलेन येता हांव पाकिस्तानाक लँड जावपता. You cannot land. I have been in military. If you try that, you'll be shot down with a missile. But he is allowed to land. That means दाल में काला है. He lands in Lahore. And who is there to receive him? This same Jindal. This is the book called The Unquiet Land, written by Barka Dutt. She brings complete, especially page number 247. She is bringing out how this man has been fixing meetings between Nawaz Sharif and our Prime Minister. And the people feel that our strong Prime Minister is against Pakistan and all. Bitollan, in which room they were sitting, in which hotel has been brought.
It is written there.
Absolutely. Yeah, आमकां फटयतात. This 56-inch chest म्हणटा पळय ते दोतोरान सांगला ते सगळे आमकां दोळ्यान धूळ घालपाक.
I am not surprised because this coal which is coming from Australia, people have been objecting, but the politicians there also behave the same way that our politicians are behaving now.
Yes, to some extent. But I said initially the State Bank of India gave $1 billion loan. Why they were forced to give? Because there were 5 banks that he had approached, including the Bank of Shanghai in Hong Kong, the bank in South Korea. The moment तांकां गोमन आयले की ऑस्ट्रेलियाचो लोक प्रोटेस्ट कोत्ता that there will be damage to the coral reef, the Great Barrier Reef, which is known as Great. The bank said, sorry, loan cancel केले आमी दिना, because they're concerned about the voice of the people. But State Bank was arm twisted to give loan. And recently, last year on 22nd May 2022, it was reported by the Economic Times that State Bank of India has underwritten a loan to Adani of 12,770 crores.
It happens. It happens. What we are seeing now is that the interests of people and the state are being sacrificed to please this double engine. And now we'll have triple engine very shortly. And at this rate, I feel that what you said, I will prefix it, we are going through a slow poisonous death.
Yes.
It is happening. It's neither good for us nor for any businessman from Goa. The businessmen from Goa and Goans per se are not beneficiaries of this. Have this Goan businessmen thought about it?
They have very much. In 2006, the Goa Chamber of Commerce, GCCI, had proposed that green cargo should be handled at MPT, then MPT. And what is this green cargo? Goa today is dealing with $2 billion of pharmaceutical cargo. If that is shifted to MPT, you don't require coal, you don't require anything else. You not only MPT, but the government will earn revenue.
And that is why this industrial estate was based in Verna.
Absolutely.
Closer
Absolutely.
to airport and to the port.
Yes, but today what is happening is these containers are going by road all the way to Nausena port in that is Jawaharlal Nehru port in Mumbai when it is so close. Why?
Yes.
Because when these containers je MPT in vetat, this is medical cargo, doctor will agree that they are stored at a particular temperature in certain conditions. ये येतात, खोलो, open karo. The container open होतं, the temperature drops. These are computerized. The temperature every second is recorded. So when the cargo reaches that particular country or the consignee, he says, at so and so time, 4 or 5 hours, your temperature had increased. I don't accept this. So they don't trust. They are the bomb. So systematically, our own cargo, which is a green cargo, has been pushed away.
And also, I remember that on 9th May 2022, the Central Empowered Committees constituted by the Supreme Court stated, do not find any justification for undertaking a project of doubling of the railway line between Tinaigat-Kasaragod in Karnataka and Kule in Goa, which will destroy the fragile ecosystem of the Western Ghats. Dr. Bolmax, this is your subject.
Yes, now we have been fighting against this. ही फाईट करता आसतना आमचे मदलो एकलो वॉरियर जुलियो आगियार he succumbed to COVID also.
Yes.
And
from
he was the one who walked with the CEC on the tracks, showing them along with Dr. Claude Alvarez. And sogle dakoyल्या उपरांत this report that was given by CEC, and of course Supreme Court took little more than a year to come out with an order, but the order came in May 2021, where they said it is ecologically and economically not feasible. So आता ते भायर उडयल्या उपरांत पासून of course that one part of it from Tinaigat to Kule. But the simple understanding is जरी तर already काढून उडयल्लें आहा, it is scrapped by the Supreme Court. Of course, with us एक धाकटो असो एक हें दिला थिंगा पोत्तून तुमी सबमिट करपाक जाता, but right now it is scrapped. If that is scrapped, then how the other part, म्हळ्यार from Kule to Vasco can go forward? Okay, आता just now Orville म्हणटालो tide is changing. The same National Board for Wildlife now has come with a suggestion. Okay, suggestion.
It is a suggestion.
It is a suggestion which Times of India has reported. I have not yet seen that suggestion officially, but okay, Times of India is reporting it, that the suggestion is that Vasco double tracking, that entire thing is to be scrapped. That is of course, amka ek ray of hope. So that means tide is really turning, tide is changing. Adani, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. तेजो जावपाचो आहा, जावपाक लागलो. उरला तोय बीन जातलो. We are sure about that. And maybe the bad thing for us, we might hit the recession. Okay, तो म्हणतो separate issue altogether. But आता हो जो CEC आनी सुप्रीम कोर्टान जी ऑर्डर दिल्ली, ती फॉलो करपाक आमचो गव्हर्नमेंट कितें करता? Where is the implementation of that order that is given by, or that sub judice जे उरलेले आहा ते? Why is our government silent on that?
There is a
That
hidden
means,
agenda.
No, not hidden agenda. Our government is the gulam of these people. Directly I am charging my government. I have a right to charge my government of Goa that my government of Goa has become gulam of these Adanis and Jindals and the center with their friends or whatever they might call. आणि आतांची कॅप्टनांपासून बरी भशेन ती कॉन्स्पिरसी आमकां एक्सप्लेन केल्या. एवरीथिंग इज जस्ट इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस. And if this is the way, then I totally agree with Dr. Johnson, and even Captain has said that आता आमी सुसेगादानी रावपाचें ना. It has to be a attack. It has to be in order to save ourselves. पोत्तून तुज्या पॉइंटाचेर do and die जाल्यार if we don't want to die, then we will or we might have to make them die. So their businesses, their plans, make those die. I'm not saying that the politicians should die. No, I'm praying for them every day that they should get health. Even for Digambar Kamath, I prayed because he could not attend the assembly because he fell sick. तो बरो जाल्यार पुरो म्हणून हांवें मागला. आय एम प्रेयिंग फॉर ऑल दीज, स्पेशली हे जे 8 जाण जे उडी मारून वचून आमकां त्रासान घालून गेल्ल्या तेंचे पासत सदांच मागता. एंड गॉड हॅज हीज ओन वेज टू हाव टू ब्रिंग देम आउट ऑफ इट. पूण इतलेंच म्हणटा, माय गव्हर्मेंट येस इज गुलाम ऑफ दीज crony capitalists, and the center who is in hand in gloves with this crony capitalist.
So, what is the way forward now, Captain?
See, one is a great awakening and awareness among the people of Goa. And the people of Goa are educated. They are understanding. They समजतले कि this battle is not for you and me. It is for the future generation. आयज पासून कोण जल्मान येवंक ना ही लढाई तांकां लागून. What Goa, what legacy are we going to leave behind? Who are these people who are destroying Goa? The very idea of Goa. These Adani and Jindals. Yeah, the expansion approval dinner. For what it is? It is for getting more coal. Where is this coal going to go? Coal is going to go to North Karnataka. For what? Because steel plants are coming up. Power plants are coming up. Who is setting up the steel plant? Jindal is setting up. So, when a steel plant is set up, you require more water. Now you know why Madai is being diverted?
Oh.
It is not for drinking. It
So
is
there's
for,
a linkage. There's a
absolutely.
linkage.
It is for meeting the requirement. There's a huge requirement of water for any steel plant. Plus, in that area, North Karnataka, Hubli and Dharwad districts, there is sugarcane cultivation. Who controls? These are sugarcane barons. All politics are controlled by the sugarcane barons. Normal crop, आमचो पळय शेतकाम ती रोयता, it requires 250 to 300 millimeter of rainfall. But sugarcane requires 2,500 to 3,500 millimeters of water. Imagine. So, तांचेकडे दर्याना आहा, तांचेकडे Malaprabha आहा. Malaprabha basin, which is this of connected to Krishna river. Why they are not taking the water from Malaprabha? आपणाचे सगळे दवरता ते. And they are diverting Madai, which is 145 kilometers away from there. See, they have got 16 major dams and over 50 small dams. Are you cannot manage your dams and the goincher kidak amcher war kotta.
There must be something hidden.
Absolutely. It is to meet the requirement of Jindal.
What do you say, Orwell Kitmanto? What is the way now forward?
Way forward is, see, in 2020, during the peak of COVID, Captain Dr. Johnson, Father Dr. Volmex, and so many others were there, from various organizations. Going so what united at that point of time. I was a greenhorn, I will say, in this agitation. I followed Kardant, going Illo and Ulo. I came for a certain thing and I got stuck with this. And I'm here in Goa today. Precisely to be with these gentlemen who are besides us. Because if we don't succeed in safeguarding Goa's interests, when I say Goa's interest means it's not only economic interest, it is, see, health is the most important thing. I've been taught during my school days that health is wealth. If Goans lose their health, nothing will sustain us. We may have loads of money with us in our banks, but that will not give us, the quality of life that we aspire for.
So we go back to Dr. Johnson.
Yes.
What is the way forward?
I told you already in the beginning, if anybody shows me, मुर्दार लोक आम्ही कुकडचे म्हणटाय ते आणि जरी तरी आमी कोणी जीप दाखयता आमी दान दाखोवपा रावपी न्ही आत्ता डेंजरस That's my verdict today on the show.
And to bring the curtain down, Dr. Volmax.
Way forward is win it. There's no other way. आमी जिखपाक जाय हें झूज. आमी झुजतले आनी आमी जैतिवंतूय जातले आनी वाटेर कोण येता तांकां खोशे भाशेन उडोवपाक जाय. हांव सद्याक नको पूण म्हजे कुशीक कॅप्टन आहा जो झुजान आहा, डॉक्टर आहा जो जाणा जायत्यो वस्तू, ऑर्वील आहा जो ट्रॅकांचेर दिसाचे दिसाक झगडटा आनी त्या भायर आमच्या कॅमेराच्या भायर जायते जाण आहा, जायते गोंयकार आहा. डोंट टेक अस फॉर ग्रांटेड. आमच्या सरकाराक सांगता, वे फॉरवर्ड, स्टॉप टेकिंग अस फॉर ग्रांटेड. And if the crony capitalists can understand my English, stop taking us for granted. And if my Prime Minister and the Centre can understand my English, stop taking Goans for granted. We will stand, we will survive, and we will fight till death.
So it's for the people, ultimately, who must show that they are really power, that their power lies in the hands of their people, and we need to do a little bit of soul searching. Is it a do or die battle for Goa and Goans? Thank you very much on this note.